Alright, so I just wanted to put together a quick video just to highlight getting started with Daylite 4. So let's just go to the Market Circle website, and if you click on Daylite, you can see this big button over here, this green button, download now. And what this will do, will take you to the page where you can see a little bit of the pricing, just so that way you have that information up front. In some cases, someone might be looking for an older version of Daylite, so we have that information here as well as details for people upgrading. So that's why we have a little bit of a page before you get to the download, so to speak. But once you're ready to download that trial, you can click on download. And this way, you can enter your name, last name, just to your email. That way we can send you the links. But the other reason is we want to send you some information to help you get started. So if you set up the type of environment this is going to be for, whether you're a single user, whether you're going to be a single user with multiple devices, or even a multi-user setup, that way the information is tailored towards that. If you're going to be a team of 3 or more, feel free to contact us as well. That way we can work with you further, make sure you have all the necessary resources. So once you've requested the email, it's important to note a few different components. Again, the Daylite server it's going to be installed on one Mac. This is where you can just click on it to download it. So it's going to open up your browser and it's going to your downloads folder. You may have it on your dock. If not, obviously you can open up Finder and of course go to your downloads just on my other screen here. So again, it's just downloading that file. But again, you also want to make sure you're downloading Daylite. And of course, you can also download Daylite for the Mac App Store as well for your iPhone and iPad. And of course, finally, you also want to download the Daylite Mail Assistant. And this is what's going to allow you to connect Apple Mail to Daylite. And that way, any email, inbound or outbound, will be able to be linked and stored not only with a contact it's for, as you can see, but you can also link it to objectives, so project and opportunities. You can create or link it to tasks or appointments. And that way, of course, you can also classify it with keywords and categories. You can mark whether this email is going to be public or whether it's going to be private within the database. So that way you can restrict access from DMA as well. So there's a lot of good stuff there that you can take advantage of. So to, again, get started, once you get that download, I have that already, so I'm just going to my download folder, and I got a lot of stuff in there, so let me just open it up and scroll to the last download I had of Daylite server, which is right here. So I'm going to open it up. So I just clicked on the actual folder, or the actual file that downloaded, I should say. So it opened up the installer. That way I can just double click on it. And now just go through the installer window. Just a very standard. Here's the service license agreement. If you wanted to read it, you're obviously more than welcome to. You can print it out and save it. But in this case, I'm just going to continue forward. This is just choosing where it's going to be installed. So this is a standard install. Again, we'll just continue. And this is just entering, again, your Mac username and password. So once the Daylite server admin has been set up, we're going to click close here. Close here. We can open that up. In fact, it should most likely open up for you, but if it doesn't, obviously you can just open that up. And here we are seeing the Daylite server bin. Now there is a first run window, so you'll see a few different options. In this case, you can either create a new database, you can restore a backup, or you can migrate a database if you're installing Daylite Server 4 on the same computer that you had Daylite Server 3, or your Daylite 3 database for that matter. But in any case, so this is the application. Even if you've gone through that window, you can come back here and create a new database at any time, but you can also restore backups from Daylite 3. So as an example, if you wanted to migrate a database, or maybe you're even trialing Daylite 4 alongside your Daylite 3 install, if you wanted to kind of see some familiar information, again, we always recommend keeping your production environment in Daylite 3, especially in that specific scenario, and keeping 4 as trial only. But again, this way you can see relative information just by using the restore a backup, or sorry, in this case, migrate from Daylite 3. But again, restoring a backup will allow you to restore either a Daylite 3 database or a Daylite 4 database. Now you'll notice those options are grayed out. That's just because I haven't authenticated yet. It's just a security feature, just to ensure, as an example, if you were sharing your computer with others, you wouldn't want people going into the application and turning things off or changing this information, because this is what's managing your actual database. So that way, anyone going in here has to be the right people. So once you're in here, in this case, I got quite a few other databases. But again, you'll be able to go into that gear, restore from a backup, and that way you can choose either, in this case, a Daylite 4 backup, or if you have a Daylite 3 backup, maybe on your desktop or what have you, you can then select that and restore into Daylite 4. Once you have the database restored, you'll be able to see that in the list. The biggest thing, obviously, you want to make sure is it's toggled on. That way, if you want to connect to the database, these will be available to the Daylite application. So there's a couple different components there. So the first component, obviously, is the Daylite server. This is what's managing the database. And to connect to your database, you want to make sure you download and install Daylite as well. So Daylite I already have installed. I'm just going to log out of my database. This video was a little bit more impromptu, so I just wanted to put some stuff together, as it has been a common topic. So I just wanted to make sure that we could cover this. So going back, when you first open up Daylite, you're going to see the welcome window. This is where you can take a tour, browse a sample database, and you can also log in as well to an existing database. Now in this case, we're going to log in. We're going to select the database. In this case, we're going to select it from the Bonjour servers, and what that means is that this is Apple's local sync technology. By being on the same network, or by being on the same computer as the Daylite server admin, you'll be able to see the available databases. So in this case, I'm on the same network. Sorry, actually, in this case, I'm on the same database. But again, just being on the same network allows you to simply connect. So if I scroll down here, I'm going to select a database that I've been working with on the side. In this case, I'm going to select a sample general. I'm just going to select myself. Actually, let's log in as Mary. That's better. We're going to allow, and allow. Always allow. Make that simple. Perfect. So here we are, we're looking at just a sample database that I had set up. But as you can see, we're now logged into the actual Daylite database. So setting up a database, and once you've got into the Daylite server and logging in, it's very straightforward. We have some other information on that as well. But I just really wanted to highlight where you can go to restore those databases. Once you're in Daylite, obviously you can create new contacts or create new objects. You can go into the Daylite preferences and customize the system for your needs. We have some information on that obviously we can share with you as well. But again, this is how you'll be able to get going, and that way you can get started using Daylite.